and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Jackson, and today we're talking about doing photo and video at wedding days, which is something that I still claim that I started doing it first, and until someone disputes it with evidence, I'm going to continue claiming that. In, I think, 2009, 2010, I started experimenting with it. 2011, I started doing it. 2013 was kind of the first year that I was really, really happy with the product that I was creating. And now it's easier than ever. I feel like it's a sales pitch. It's not a sales pitch, but it is easy with all the advances in specifically mirrorless cameras. And now you can actually use autofocus in video. So that's awesome. That was a thing that was a struggle for a long, long time. So if you're thinking about doing this now is the best time because it's the easy time. And also it's in demand. So doing photo video at wedding might seem grammatically incorrect because I screwed up that word. It might seem hard to do. It might seem overwhelming in the beginning. There are, I guess in the beginning, when you do start doing photography and video, you just forget to do video, especially if you've been doing photography for years, that you just kind of get in your flow and you forget to take video clips. That is one struggle of this. But first, let's actually talk about the benefits of doing photography and video coverage at a wedding day. So I've noticed that my couples are, when I started doing this, they went from like happy with my photography work to overwhelmingly ecstatic about the delivery of both the photography gallery and video. And they were so happy. I got so many more referrals from those couples because everyone in the wedding party saw that I did both photo video. It's like, well, you only had one person. Where's the video team? He just did both. I think to speak to, I guess, to relive a wedding day. So you're probably, I don't know why do people hire wedding photographers? Because it's required. It's like a requirement of a wedding. That's why they hire us. But for real, I think in some level they want to relive their day in a professional way. Now we're doing a rhyme. And photography helps people relive that day. They look at a photo. They feel nice about that photo. They look good. They're photographed well in good light. They like that. What photography, I guess, doesn't really do for me, or what I noticed video doing a heck of a lot better, was actually transporting people back to the day. With video, you sit down, you begin watching the video, maybe you get distracted halfway through and you come back, and you kind of fully immerse in that experience. With photography, if you're giving somebody 1,000 images, they're not going to sit there and go through every single image and feel kind of an arc of emotion. Whereas with video, you can invoke those emotions. You can use music. You can use different elements to actually create something that's very, very emotional. And it's not something that I found myself really being able to do with photography. That yes, the blog post is great. I'm sure people have cried seeing their blog posts or seeing their images. But I think way more people cry. Maybe is that the goal? Is that the goal of us as wedding photographers? Make people cry? It's a weird job. But I think you create a much more emotional experience that actually transports people back to the day a lot better with video. I forget where I said this, maybe in Book More Weddings 2023, that photography is the picture perfect moments, and the video experience is what actually transports people back to that day, and they can feel that day again. And I think that is pretty darn cool. I think that a lot of couples in the past, that the one regret that I heard from wedding couples was, one, we should have eloped, or two, we should have had somebody do video, because they don't realize it until it's too late that it would be something that was very, very nice for them to have. And a lot of the time the budget just isn't there. And it's honestly a bit of a bummer that you figure that out once it's too late. When you are a photographer and also a video creator, it makes it very easy for you to convey this in the first meeting, that you can tell people straight up that like that's one of the regrets. Not totally a sales pitch, but this is the one thing that I hear often, is that people regret not getting video. And once people hear, I guess it's the suggested selling thing. Once people hear that that's a thing that people regret, or that other people do, if you're like, yeah, 90% of my couples, I'll get my photo video package, there's a pretty good chance that couple sitting down is going to bump from that photo package into a photo video package. So you're creating a much better deliverable for that couple. I 100% truly believe that. And then also you get paid more. So you're in this for business, you're in this to make money. And by doing a video, you're already there on the wedding day. Just work a little bit harder. It's Yeah, you really got to stay present the entire wedding day when you're doing both, because you got to remember kind of where you're at in the timeline. You got to get both photography, exteriors, transition shots. There's a little bit. If you're a member at the members website, there's some full courses about that. Or if you sign up for Book More Weddings 2023, you sign up for the year. There's a lot of content over on the members site about that. And the good thing is that the skills required to actually start to do video, you probably already have the tech. You don't need a whole lot more. I'm also talking, maybe I should put this in scope. So what I do is I do a highlight film. So I did a 2 to 4 minute highlight film and photography coverage. And the highlight film does not distract. It does not take away from the photography coverage. It's pretty much the exact same photography coverage that I would be giving them. And I would say this past year, I think also for maybe safety, I guess, because the past couple of years have been a little bit weird. I've been hiring a second photographer always for my photo video packages, so that I have backup, that I have somebody that can go do photo video. Usually if it's a guys girls wedding, usually the guys, maybe they're getting ready somewhere else, and my second will go over there and grab some video clips for me as well as the photography. And by having a second photographer there with me to do both, it's been very, very helpful. I've trained a lot of my second photographers. Some of them that's what they were doing before. But a few of them, I just kind of was like, yeah, well, I don't know. What's the training process? Turn your camera on to 60 frames a second and just do the same thing you do with photography, but make them move in it. When it comes down to it, that's kind of it. I don't know. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but it is pretty easy to do the actual capture on the day. For the first number of weddings, you'll massively overshoot. You'll come home with like 5 hours of footage somehow at a 4-hour wedding day, and you'll have to mash that all into like a 3-minute edit. And it's hard. Over time, I'm going to say maybe by the 10th wedding video that you've done, you know the shots you're going to use, you know the shots you're not going to use. For instance, I never use shots of the, guests at wedding days. Like, I'm not going to do candid coverage and go candidly throughout cocktail hour and pull a bunch of clips from that, because every time you do, you include a clip of somebody's date or like a waiter that looked like he was a guest. And then you got to go into the project and you got to get rid of that shot. You got to replace that shot. Or if you get rid of it, it messes up your timeline. So I've just erred on the side of the couple and the immediate family. Those are the ones that are going to be the main features in the film. Maybe guests during the ceremony, maybe I'll do a wide shot of that. But for the most part, I'm doing the best I can to include the main people on the wedding day to get them in the video as much as possible. So now how much more money can you make doing both photography and video? That one's up to you. I think I started charging $1,000 for a highlight film. So I'm in Canada. So if you live somewhere else in the world, maybe this is not enough, or maybe this is way too much. I live about an hour and a half or maybe an hour outside of a major city called Toronto. Maybe you've heard of it. I hope you've heard of it. And the market there is, I would say, a lot higher. That if I was at the prices that I'm at and trying to work in Toronto, people would be like, why is this kid broken? Like, what's wrong with this person's coverage? Why are they charging so little? But when it comes to working close to home here, which I enjoy doing a lot more, my prices are maybe on the upper-ish level of what's going on and what will actually book in this local area. So I think that's something to keep in mind. That was a conscious choice for me, that I did not want to work in Toronto. I don't like parking downtown. I don't like hauling gear out of a parking garage or whatever. I just never really enjoyed the experience. I did it for a bunch of years. I made my money. I shot a bunch of $10,000 wedding days. Woohoo. And then I decided that it's a heck of a lot more fun to not do that in big city and to work here, where I can drive and be at a venue in 10 minutes and shoot an 8-hour day, because it's a hotel reception venue and they can do everything all at one spot and the light's good there. And I only work at like 5 venues now. I will take weddings at other venues if they're, I don't know if they're special or if they seem interesting at the time, but for the most part, and I'm sure you're sick of seeing the same stupid venues on my YouTube channel all the time, for the most part, I only work at the same venues. And I find this weirdly enjoyable, and it doesn't hurt my creativity at all. I know all the shots that I can go in. I can walk in any weather condition, any time of year, and I know the 5 locations that I'm going to use for photos. And while that might seem repetitive and maybe that does not stimulate your creative brain, and that's something that you will forever avoid, and if you work at the same venue twice, that sucks for you, I'm kind of the opposite, that I like to be able to every week get a little bit more efficient with my process and make the wedding photography and video creation less of an impact on the wedding day. And that is a business that I have learned that makes me happy. So if that doesn't make you happy, don't do it. But I think it's important to figure out the things that you enjoy doing and figure out the things that you do not enjoy doing and make the fun stuff part of your business and outsource or don't do the stuff that you don't enjoy doing. Maybe I'll preface this entire photo video episode with the fact that if you hate doing video, if you think it's an absolute nightmare and you do not want to do it, you don't see the value in it, don't take my advice. Don't start doing something that you hate. You're just going to learn to loathe your business and you're not going to want to go to wedding days. I would say that I'm very fortunate that I'm probably maybe 1,000 weddings, maybe probably more than 1,000 weddings into my career at this point. And I don't remember a single wedding day where I've woken up and I've been like, I don't want to go to work today. This sucks. I would say every single morning of a wedding day, or even if maybe I'm not feeling it, I know within the first like 10 minutes of being there that it'll be like, nah, this is an awesome way to make a living. Like, what am I complaining for? I'm taking pictures of people's parties. What could be a better job? I don't know. Maybe a lottery winner, professional lottery winner. Is that a job? Another controversial thing that I don't do with photo video coverage, I don't use ND filters. So ND filters, neutral density filters, we use them whenever we do stuff that we want to make look cinematic. But on wedding days, when you're doing photo video coverage, you just can't. Maybe if you have a dedicated camera and you're shooting one camera photo, one video, I shoot everything on the same body. I don't use NDs because I guess maybe we'll explain what an ND is. So basically, in an ideal world, your shutter speed should be double your frame rate. So it's the 180 rule. And if you're shooting 60 frames a second, which I always do, so I shoot everything in medium slow motion and I slow it all down in post to make it look nice and cinematic so you can catch the in-between moments and cry. Again, that's the goal, make everyone cry. So if I'm shooting 60 frames per second, my shutter speed should be 1/120, 1/120th of a second. Most cameras won't do that. They'll do 1/125th of a second. That's fine too. If you're shooting Panasonic, you can actually set your shutter angle. That's nice. Fortunately for me, you can't. So that is an ideal world. You shoot double your frame rate so you get that nice motion blur. If you're watching the YouTube video right now, look, you can see that my hand is not in crisp focus as it moves around because I'm observing almost the 180 shutter rule. It's not quite, I'm a little bit too fast. But you should be able to catch that motion blur. It's a little bit more calming, pleasing to your eyes. I don't use NDs because I have no time for it. So I will run a 1/4000th of a second shutter speed in video and all the cinema people will hate me for it. And if it looks choppy, so basically what you're trying to do is if the footage looks too choppy, you can actually, there's a plugin called Real Smart Motion Blur. I'm sure there's others as well. And you can actually just emulate the motion blur through a plugin. I only notice it in certain situations. So slow motion, I feel like is a little bit more forgiving. And I notice it maybe, I'm going to say one clip every 3 weddings that I have to use the plugin. And it's usually if I'm trying to pan or track with somebody, that's a dead giveaway. If you're trying to pan with somebody and you're actually moving the camera, I would say in a typical wedding film, I have camera movement maybe in 2 shots. The rest of it, I just stand perfectly still like a little tripod and let things happen in that frame. And that's what I'm after. If you do introduce a lot of camera movement, if you're trying to do like gimbal shots and glide over the floor, you for sure should be doing it properly and using an ND. For what I do, I've kind of learned to work within the limitations of not using one, because then all of a sudden, if you have a 10 stop or 5 stop or variable ND of some sort, and you're trying to shoot photo video outside, it's just not cohesive to the photography side of things. You can't be shooting your photos at I guess you could, 50th of a second or 1/125th of a second. I guess you could. I guess it's up to you. I don't use it. I haven't really noticed a need for it. We do it correctly sometimes. We do it incorrectly other times. And I think at the end of the day, you're still making a very nice piece for your couple. And I don't think it's something that makes them stressed to see that it's like that shot, the frame rate's too high. If you shoot water, maybe do it correctly. Or anything that's like moving really fast. You want that really buttery slow motion. Maybe in that case, just put your f-stop up. F22 forever. F22 gang. Now the other struggle for you as a photographer coming into video is that yes, there is editing now. Now you get to edit all the photos, but you should just be using Imagen AI. This fitness not sponsored by them, but it is who I'm using to do all my post-processing this year. And it's just amazing. You just click a button, you upload your gallery, and it comes back and it's pretty much exactly what you would want. I guess maybe this year I'll just decide when it's an actual perfect profile and I don't have to change anything. And I'll let you know how many weddings that was. But overall, I would say I'm very, very, very happy with the edits that I'm getting back from them. And it's just an AI solution. So there's no more editing. You got to look through stuff. You got to like maybe change 15 images, but photography editing kind of almost gone to zero timeline, which is really nice. Still got to cull, or even if you use automated culling features, you still kind of got to go through and refine. I think the cull is now more important than the actual edit. Well, theoretically, the cull will take you more time. And I would say it's important to cull and include the images that should be included, and don't include too much, and then use AI to edit. So that doesn't really matter anymore. That's like an hour and a half round trip, full wedding day now. However, for video, it'll take you a minute. You can hire someone. I have an amazing editor. His name's Tyler. He's great. He helps me out. He helps my friend Liam out. It's probably going to help Tim out next year. I'm going to say he's at full capacity, so don't at him. Or maybe do. Maybe Tyler should be opening up a firm where he just does wedding video edits for people all around the world. That'd be cool too. If you need an editor, Tyler Cheeseman, look him up. But I would say to find somebody local to you and somebody that basically just understands your process and you can drop off a physical drive. There's lots of people that will edit online for you as well. You can also do the thing where you send it to a country that maybe makes a little bit less money overall than you, and your $100 US is worth a lot more over there. You could do something like that as well. I know a lot of friends that have editors all around the world, and out of scope of this conversation, but it's kind of really beneficial to have somebody that is on an opposite time zone as you, especially if you're trying to do like daily videos, because you can, I don't know, you shoot the day, you upload it, they wake up, they start editing. By the time you wake up again, you have a final project. And I like that workflow a lot. For weddings, that speed doesn't really matter. If you can have an edit done the next day though, I don't know, maybe that is the thing. I don't think it's proper to send the photo gallery the day after the wedding or even the week after the wedding. Some preview images or whatever, like, yeah, obviously that's cool. But the entire gallery, I find that the best time is maybe around like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I find that my couples tend to enjoy their galleries a lot more at that time, that it's still too fresh. However, for a wedding video, the next day might be a pretty cool thing. So I don't know. If you have any feedback on that, let me know in the comments on the YouTube video of this. I would love to hear about that. If you are a member though, you have access to my full editing demo. So exactly how I do it. I think it takes me about an hour and a half to do a wedding edit now. And it's just set to music, no audio. We're not doing anything too crazy. And yeah, probably maybe call it 2 hours. There is another package that I do that I'm trying actively not to sell this year, even though it's $10,000-ish package. And that includes full video coverage as well. And doing full video means the ceremony and the speeches. And I find that when we do that style of coverage, it actually makes the highlight film less good because we're trying to stay out of cameras that are locked off on tripods. And I think that the highlight film does suffer a little bit, even though we have more coverage and we have the full ceremony and the full speeches and everything. So I'm trying not to sell that because I don't know. I believe in the product. The product's great, but it's not as good as we could do. And I also have the stats on ceremony and speeches, and there's a bunch of them that are still at 0 views. So I don't think it's as important to people as they think. If somebody really wants it, yeah, of course, I'll be able to do that for them. But I'm kind of pushing people a little bit away from it. Also, from a mental standpoint, you come home with so much data. You have so many cards, you have audio recorders, you have so many more things that can go wrong, and you have to troubleshoot whenever the DJ board only has like an RCA out or something weird. Or sometimes there's just literally no out. We shoot one venue. I think it's still like this, that when they made the audio board, there's a microphone, there's a handheld mic that people can take and walk around with, but there's no way to get an out from that microphone. So Tim has this cool little neoprene thing that attaches a recorder to the mic. So you kind of have to do that in that situation. And then sometimes maybe they pointed at the couple for vows, but you should at least lav one of them so that they have a mic on them. And it's just a lot of data, a lot of moving pieces. I prefer to do the photography and the highlight video, and that's where I'm the happiest. So full editing demo up for members. And I'm going to say it's in the course, the How to Make a Highlight Film for Wedding Photographers course. I think in the hybrid photo video stuff, there's maybe another editing demo in there as well. So if you're interested, check that out. There it is. Doing photo video on a wedding day. My thoughts on it. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope that this inspires you to either do it or don't. I feel like if this has all sounded terrible, and you're like, I hate video, I'm never going to do this, then don't. And I hope that this made that super clear to you. I feel like that's the same with what I want my website to do for couples. When they come to my website, I either want them to be like, this is the guy for us, or I want them to be like, this guy, no thanks, see you never. And either way is totally fine. I'm totally happy with both of those outcomes. And I hope that this was maybe the same for you. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe that's too grandeur of goals. I don't know. Book Mornings 2023 is out now. I feel like I call it Book Mornings 2022 in this video. Anyways, 2023 out now. There's so much stuff in there. I'm not even going to get into it because it's just a lot. Go check it out. There's a link in the description. Go through. There's two ways to get it. You can either get it straight out. It comes with a lot of bonuses, or you can sign up for a year, the members website, and get all the stuff that I talked about today. Only until January 20th, though. So get in before January 20th, or it's gone for 1.5-ish months. And March 1st is the next time you can sign up for it. But if you get it, you're able to keep it, and you're able to watch it and enjoy it and implement all the success tips into your business and get going in 2023. That was dumb. I'll go home now.